In the first ever game of the 12-team playoff, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish blow out the upstart Indiana Hoosiers 27-17, and this game was not close regardless of what the score indicated. We talk about this game, my thoughts looking forward for both teams, my outlook from the game, and much more from this instant reaction. Before we dive in here, I am in here for the long haul all winter long through the bowl games, playoffs, transfer portal, recruiting, and everything else in between. I cover it all here on the channel. My specialty is the Big Ten, but I love college football as a whole, and I want you guys to be a part of this. And all I ask is to please consider subscribing, as it is the best and most efficient way to support the channel. All right, enough said. Let's dive right into this instant reaction. Okay, let's dive right into the analysis here, starting with Marcus Freeman and his staff definitively outcoached Kurt Cignetti and his year one staff, and Kurt Cignetti played right into Marcus Freeman's hands. Let's look at what Notre Dame is built around. They are built around winning the line of scrimmage, which we will talk about in a second because that was a huge part of this game. They are built around running the ball, playing really good defense. They're not built to burn you over the top 20 times a game like Indiana did this year. And Indiana played a lot of prevent defense. They allowed the 8-yard check down runs that went for 11, 12 yards. Nine times out of 10, if you allow that, you're going to lose the game because you're allowing all of this stuff underneath that's happening to happen. And that's why things went the way they went on offense for Notre Dame. It wasn't, 3 plays, 75 yards later. Yes, the one run, spectacular run by Love. But other than that, every drive was eating up minutes and minutes and minutes. First down after first down. Each drive probably had about 6 first downs in it apiece. That ended up in points. And Notre Dame schemed the correct way, and Indiana did not. Now you look at how they schemed on the defensive side for Notre Dame. We're talking about Notre Dame here. They played really exceptional coverage. They don't have the best corners in the world, but what they do have is excellent coaching, and what they do have is a really top-tier defensive line. And that top-tier defensive line sent 4 or 5 guys pretty much every time, and they were able to get pressure a lot of the time. And Indiana has a lot of routes. A lot of their route combinations rely on their offensive line holding up for about 4 or 5 seconds. And you saw that throughout the season. You saw that throughout this game today. A lot of deep developing routes. That's basically their whole playbook. You watch their games this year, you watch this game. It's how it works for Indiana. They're not going to do what Notre Dame's going to do and take what the defense gives you. If the defense is giving you a 5-yard in-breaking route with one of your faster, twitchier receivers, give the ball to him because that guy's going to go make a play. Let your receivers go make a play. Don't have them sprint down the field 20 yards and cut in only to look back and see your quarterback is throwing the ball out of bounds because he's getting instant pressure. And anytime Notre Dame sent 6 or 7, it was over. There's a guy in Curtis Rourke's face. You saw it toward the end of the game. There was a pass that tipped off of the Indiana receiver. It was a ball that actually got out about I want to say a 15 to 20 yard in-breaking route, and Indiana had it. The guy was wide open. But these long developing routes, and Notre Dame sent 5, 6 guys, meaning that he had to throw the pass with a guy smothering him in his face, and obviously the pass didn't work. It was 2 feet short. 2 feet long, excuse me. So that's what I have to say on the coaching part. Then the line of scrimmage. Line of scrimmage was totally dominated by Notre Dame, both sides of the ball. The Indiana offensive line could not do anything, especially the tackles. The tackles were getting beat every single play. Maybe it took a second or two someplace, but every single play they were getting beat. Their PFF score was low. I don't know what it was, but it was low, whatever it was. And on the other side of the ball, Notre Dame had many amounts of time to throw the ball and to run. It was only when Indiana started stacking the box and sending like 8 guys were they getting pressure. It was really all on Notre Dame. And if you win the line of scrimmage, you win the football game. That's been a saying for a long time, and it still holds true in the college game today. It's not the flashy passes, it's not all these turnovers and whatever. It's the line of scrimmage. It's where you're going to win games. Now let's talk about the harsh reality of Indiana football this year. They were a year one staff, so they're going to do year one things, like lose to Ohio State by a metric ton, like get absolutely slaughtered in the college football playoff game. The harsh reality is that they could not handle any crowd noise whatsoever. All of their quote unquote difficult games, when I talk about difficult games, I talk about when they played Nebraska, Washington, and Michigan, all bowl eligible teams, good football teams, not very good, or not any good past good, if you guys know what I'm saying. They were all at home. They never had to face crowd noise at all. They went to Northwestern, who plays at a practice field. They went to UCLA early in the year. They went to Michigan State, and all those stadiums were half full. And then they went to Ohio State, and they got absolutely slaughtered. So what did you think was going to happen when they went to Notre Dame? I didn't have Indiana winning. Anyway, that's another reason. I mean, they had a terrible strength of schedule. If you want to prove that you're in, schedule some Power 4 games. I mean, it's the harsh reality of Indiana football in the 12-team playoff. The 12-team playoff, this is going to keep happening. Teams like these will still be allowed in. Texas didn't play a good schedule at all. They lost twice to the best team that they played, and it was the best team they played by a large margin. There will be teams that have terrible strength of schedule that will get in, and things like this will happen to those teams. So those are my thoughts on that. They were out-physicaled and outclassed. They were out-physicaled. This is pretty evident. You could see it. Indiana missed about 400 tackles that game. They lost both lines of scrimmage, and they got outclassed. By the end, body language looked terrible. Penalties like late hit out of bounds, false starts, just procedural penalties to unnecessary penalties. They were taking all of them. Everything looked desperate. Everything was chaotic. And you could see it as soon as their opening playbook, their starting playbook. Every team has a starting playbook where they start out, they have the game plan for the first couple drives. Once you saw that didn't work, they didn't have an answer for anything. They got outclassed. You could say that goes in the out-coaching category, but they got outclassed by Notre Dame here. I get it. And credit to Notre Dame. Let's talk about Notre Dame for a second. Credit to Notre Dame. Notre Dame packed that stadium. There was not a whole lot of red there. We'll see about the Ohio State-Tennessee game, but I have a funny feeling like there's going to be a lot of orange in that stadium. Notre Dame did a great job of selling tickets to their fans. They did a great job of just providing an awesome atmosphere. That game was electric because of the atmosphere, even when it was dull at times. It was just an incredible atmosphere. Wish I had been there. But it was an incredible game for Notre Dame. The score did not indicate anything in this game. It was 27 to 3, I'm pretty sure, at one point in time. It was just not a good game at all. Looking at some stats, Curtis Work did end up going for over 200 yards passing. That was pretty much everything at the end. They rushed for only 63 yards. And Notre Dame, here's the big stat. Notre Dame rushed for 193 yards. Indiana had a top 10 rushing defense. And you have to take all stats with a grain of salt because they didn't play nobody that could run the ball effectively. You could cite Michigan or Nebraska, but you have a half-decent defensive line. You can stop those guys, and that was proven throughout the season, and that's why those teams are where they are. So anyway, that's all I have for today's game. If you want more analysis like this game, I'm going to be doing one for pretty much every college football playoff game, for the bowl games, for pretty much everything going ahead. I'll be doing stuff just like this, quick, under 10-minute. Well, this is going on 12-minute, but under in this time range of videos, and I'll be doing a lot of them. So if you want to stick around, subscribe, like the video, comment your thoughts down below, and I will see you guys tomorrow in the next college football playoff instant reaction video.